So it's always good being here. It's always wonderful having a community. Thankful that Rob Rubin is back safe. So I didn't see any stories that kind of meshed with what I wanted to talk about today, but I wanted to talk kind of like a midrash about what happens during the story of the plagues, and it's kind of similar to what I think is pertinent to what we're dealing with in our time period now. Um, some other religions will say they may try to make things fit exactly with a purpose. A lot of times there's a lot of focus on where we live, like the United States. And the United States is not the center of the biblical world, it's Israel, right? So um, the United States has its place. It's a good place to live. I like it, But the focus should be on Israel and what happens there. So when it comes to prophecy and everything, our focus should be on the land. It says if bad things happen wherever you're at, let your eyes draw near to look upon and have the hope to return to Jerusalem. So during the plague of locusts, there was it was a it was the plagues were distributed to the entire people. So this included the Israelites. So there was a situation going into the camp of Israel. So a lot of people kind of envision that the plagues were back to back, right, within a few days. Some people say it happened that way. Some sages say it happened over years. Some people say some sages say it happened over a year's time span. As Jews, we see basically little uh, stories that we get from our holidays that Hashem has blessed us with. So it makes sense that it would be within a year, but we're really not sure, right? The Egyptians made sure that they pretty much tried to destroy whatever they could as far as they wanted it blotted out and not to be remembered because it was embarrassing to them. Okay, so the plague of locusts basically took all the crops away from us, right? So those people among our brethren and brothers and sisters or family who saw all these plagues, and just like Pharaoh were like, well, I understand, he's judging Israel, but I'm just going to stay here in the land, and Goshen is good. Hashem is protecting me. I don't necessarily need to worry about these ancient laws and ancient customs and about where I used to come from. My home was in Goshen. And the Midrash and different sources say that the locust started in Goshen and it went through and it destroyed all the crops. And beforehand, Hashem had made it to where a lot of Egypt got their sustenance from Goshen, right? Because Hashem had protected us from other plagues, and those of us became obstinate, and basically we were there's some of us that were very, very upset about the situation of the locusts destroying the crops. And so our sages say in the Midrash that Hashem got very, very upset, very angry, and he basically had the version of the killing of the firstborn, except it was wholesale for people who had in their heart not to leave. And it was so much. There was so much people. There were so many people that died that Hashem actually said, "What do I do if I show this it'll be a reproach, it'll be like the Egyptians will be able to mock Israel. So one of the things that Hashem did, now at this time, Israel was dispersed throughout the entire land of Egypt. If the intent was for us to be apart and to live in a safe place, where Joseph had demarcated us in Goshen, but we were spread out through the entire land, similar to our sister Dinah. How does the people of the land, how do they work, right? Hashem wants us to be citizens of our countries, or Israel, Bezrat Hashem, but he doesn't want us to actually be part of those nations, be in the working. We're different, right? All the festivals it seems like in the world, all the sporting events seem to take place on Shabbat. And I don't think that's by any accident. But basically what they're saying is this is not part for you. You're not supposed to take part of this, right? You've got a higher purpose. So the plague of darkness basically covered our embarrassment, and Hashem killed a lot of people among our number. And then he gave those who survived an opportunity to listen to him during the Passover. And it was the final straw of the Passover. So a lot of times, Hashem, there's a statement that embarrassing someone or causing someone to be embarrassed, willfully causing somebody to be embarrassed, is akin to the crime of murder, and that you're basically putting somebody's their being, you're assassinating them. So that's why our sages say that the plague of darkness clothed what was happening, but through the Midrash we kind of wink at it, but it wasn't done in a way to kind of we're so much better than our brothers and sisters because we do the same sins over and over. We probably Bezrat Hashem would have been Chas V'Shalom, may have been in that number who didn't want to go. Eventually there's going to be a time period as Jews where we're going to have to make a decision to return to Eretz Israel, because that's where our place is. Our place is Israel. It'll be in the time of Mashiach, but there might be a time where Hashem is calling people before Mashiach to come home. We just need to be open and willing to hear his voice. So I just think that Hashem has given us a way that he deals with us politely. He's not looking to break us over the coals and make us an example. He does stuff in a gentle way when he can, but when he can't, he uses other means. So let us learn from our sages and learn from the stories in the Exodus. Shabbat Shalom.